When you look at a painting, sometimes if there's a lot of white space in the picture, then it really shows the colours off a lot more and it helps you really see what's going on because of the focus that it gives you on the colours. This is exactly the same reason why I believe having a lot of space in a mix really does show the sounds off a lot more. This is something that sounds very simple in speaking it, but in practice it's a lot harder because you always want to keep adding more and more because you feel as if like that section isn't working, so I need to make that work by doing that, and I need more fills in there, and that kick's not right, so I need 20 more kicks on top of it to crush it all together with a compressor and blah blah. You get what I'm saying? So you keep adding more and more, and it's very similar to cooking in that way. Good ingredients, less of them, more flavour because you can just really taste what's going on. So it's the same for your ears. You know, it's having space around the sounds and making sure that what those sounds are really good sounds. And so the same for your eyes is having white space so that the image, you get what I'm saying. So it happens for all the senses. So for me, having that space really shows off the individual instruments, and so it really makes you concentrate on what those individual instruments are and what they're doing. Some producer really good at doing this is Pharrell. He's always done that with his mixes, and Daft Punk do it a lot where it's just very minimal stuff but the sounds that they get are really good. And the reason why I like it as a mastering engineer is because when you want to get something loud, for example, you could do a whole album of a rock album that's crushed to death, really loud, like loads of instrumentation in there, really crushed, and then you can have a piano piece in the middle of it, and the piano piece will sound louder than the massively over compressed tracks because it's got one instrument and it's just firing out at you so much easier on your ears. There's space around it, the dynamics are there, so you don't have this kind of crushed sound. It's like very loud. And so you end up having to turn these tracks down quite a lot when you're when you're really leveling an album. So that for me is great as a mastering engineer. So if you've got a tune that's super dynamic, got loads of space around it, I can get it perceived sounding a lot louder, but also I can push the instruments into each other with limiting and with a bit of compression. So as I'm pushing them in together, the harmonics aren't going to clash together and distort because there's space around them. So you can get it sounding really loud, but really clear, and you can really emphasize the sound. So I can really tune up the low end or really tune up the tops or the mids or whatever I'm doing because there's not a lot happening there that's going to clash. I can really work on those sounds. So for me, that's why I love it as a mastering engineer. But as a mix engineer, that's the joy of getting a very spacious mix is something that I think people should be aiming for because simplicity is the key, I think. If it's doing the right things in the right places, in the right frequency range, then that's where it gives you the feeling, and that's where you can really, your senses are alive, you know, like I say about taste and your eyes. It's like getting those senses so that they really feel the sound. So yeah, that said, technically I can only give you some basic tips. I'd think about panning and definitely think about just what the instruments are doing. Just always be aware, are you doing too much? Are you adding too much? Are you changing this sound too much as an engineer if you're working on it after the production? If you're in the production, what are those sounds? How can I get like one sound doing what 5 are doing? And what can I take out that's not working? And if I take all these out, does it actually change the sound of the track? It's very tempting to just keep adding, but how about let's take away stuff, and then is that all right on its own? If it's not, let's change that. What does it sound like now? Is the vocal recorded properly? Do I need to put all this compression and processing on? Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Yeah, more space the better. Let's have more space. I hope you like this. Please subscribe. Please like the video and share it as much as you can, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.